Right. Okay. So we are live on here. Here we go. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to give it a minute. Give people opportunity to join me. Make sure you type in the comments and just let me know where you are tuning in from. I would love to know. I would love to know. I am on Clubhouse as well, so I'm excited to be on these two platforms. Tonight we are going to be talking about ways to avoid team calamity, and I know that we have all worked on teams in one shape or form. And in 2022, it's really important that we pay attention to this. Again, as you hear me talk about and share, the great resignation is in effect. If you are not familiar with what that concept or that term means, it's basically that there are droves of people leaving and quitting their jobs. We began seeing this trend last year, I want to say between April and August, with people just leaving their jobs. It doesn't mean that they didn't get another job, but it meant that there was just a massive amount of people quitting their jobs. I want to say at least 4 million people, I want to say, last year. So it's definitely important that we talk about this different team dynamic. My name is Ashley Kennedy, and I am the Chief Empowerment Officer at Empowered Incorporated. And I love working with organizations and leadership teams about how they can be productive and have a great impact or a greater impact within their organizations, if you are a corporation or if you are a nonprofit. And the thing with that is that teams really are a key to that. And so I really like to push that. I really like to encourage that, because your team are the people who are helping you to fulfill the mission. Okay. And so I also like to be able to take multiple perspectives. And so we are going to be talking tonight about ways to avoid team calamity, because we have all, I'm sure, either have been on or have heard a story of someone who has been a part of a horrible team, and it is nothing like being on a bad team. So I really love talking about this and just ways that teams can work together well and be productive and effective, because a lot of times people are on teams for the wrong reasons. And I'll say that a lot of times people are on teams because it's someone that they like. People may be invited to teams because they like you. However, it is all about that fit. And we are seeing that because with the great resignation, and just when people leave teams, or they may leave a ministry, or they may leave a job, it's something going on with the fit. It's something going on with the culture. So it's very important that we just begin to look at these things and see if there's a way that some of these things can be prevented. And I believe that they can. You will hear me talk a lot about being proactive instead of reactive. So for me, if there's something that I can prevent, I want to do that. Sorry, just adjusting my jacket a little bit. If there's something that I can prevent, I want to do that. And teams are important, because when you have that right fit, it can help you bring in additional revenue. It can help release the load off of the main leadership team, especially if you're just one person. Organizations were not made to just function with one person, nor were businesses. Very few are made to really be like that. Even if it's you having an employee, or if it's you contracting out, or if it's you having a volunteer base, we need other people to help us along the way. So it's very important that we really understand this concept of healthy team life and how we can build into that. There are people right now, and I'm talking about outside of what's currently going on in our society, that are burnt out and tired because they are trying to do it all on their own. And I'm here to tell you, it does not have to be that way. But there is a way that you can do a great job as far as appointing, selecting, and inviting, I'll even say that, people to work with you to be on your team. So I do want to say that. I'll give an example just personally before I jump into some of these tips that I'm going to give, some different things for you to look at. And it's basically with an organization that I am a part of right now, and I love it. At first, I wasn't sure as to why I was being invited to be a part of this organization, but I love it. And even though I did not know a ton of information about this organization, I knew the leader who was inviting me, and I trusted him. I was able to see the fruit in his life and the character and the way that he walked and flowed. And so I was able to step into that. Now, of course, I had to pray and all of that, but it's really just turned out to be an amazing experience. He's very responsive. I see just continual impact within the organization as far as youth being reached and just great things that are happening, all types of new things that are occurring. I really appreciate that there are various people from different backgrounds to bring this diversity of voice and experience as we come together and plan and look at different things that are going on. And these are some great aspects of a healthy team, because I did a video before, everyone on your team should not look like you, be like you, or sound like you. You want diversity within your team, okay? And when you have a great team, you will see high levels of productivity and impact. You will see your mission really being lived out. You will see it come to life when you have the right team. So I definitely want to make that clear. And so now I would like to really just jump into some different things that you should look at as you consider being a part of a team, right? So if you are considering taking on a new job, a new role, a new department, a new volunteer experience, these are some things that you actually want to begin to look at and think about. Because again, sometimes we join up with different organizations or groups of people for the wrong reasons. We may be thinking it's for one thing and it turns out to be really bad. And so again, I want to talk about how to avoid team calamity. And the best way to do that is making sure that you have the proper fit. Okay? So the proper fit is very important. So the first thing that I want to say is that you need to be able to assess the environment. Okay, you want to assess the environment. So you want to be able to look and see and know, where will you be working at? Where will you be serving at on this team? Where will you be serving at on this team? Will you be in the inner city? Will you be out in the suburbs? Will you be working remotely? Will you be in a rural area? Will you be in a school? You want to know where your service, if you're volunteering, where is the location? You want to assess that first. Because again, it is all about fit. And you don't want to just jump into something or jump onto a team without knowing the specifics. Now, of course, you won't know everything, but you want to get as much information as possible, again, so you know if it is a fit for you. So again, assess the environment. Know where it is you'll be serving at or working at. Number 2, you want to know who you will be working with. Very, very, very important. It is so important that we stop assuming different things and ask very specific and direct questions. So you know exactly what you're dealing with. You know who you're dealing with. So you want to know, are you working with kids? Will you be working with board members? Will you be working with staff, other colleagues? Who is it that you will be working with? Will you be working with school administrators? Will you be working with councilmen? Who exactly will you be working with? Is the next question that you need to ask yourself before you join and jump on a team. Because again, it's all about fit. And just because it sounds like a great idea does not mean that it is necessarily the fit for you. Okay? So you want to make sure you do that. Next up, you want to pay attention as much as possible to the leadership style of the person or the group of people that you're going to be serving with. Okay? Very important, because we all have different styles, not necessarily right or wrong, unless there's actually some bad things going on, but different people lead in different ways. And before you join a team, before you accept a new role, position, task, you need to understand the leadership style of the person, the boss, the supervisor, the team lead that you will be reporting to. So you want to know, are they more hands-on or are they more hands-off? Are they really involved in what's going on, or are they, do they just give you the reins and let you go ahead and take over? These are other questions that you want to ask yourself. Why? Because people tend to not leave jobs per se. They leave bosses, they leave managers, they leave cultures, because these are different things that can really stir up these unhealthy things within a particular culture, whether it be a job or a nonprofit organization. So you want to make sure that you find out the leadership style, again, of the person that you will be working or serving under, to make sure that it is compatible with yours. Some people work really, really well if, they have the manager, or the lead person, I'm sorry, you all, or the lead person walking with them pretty closely, telling them, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. Some people work really well like that. Some people do not. Other people are more independent. They just want to know what the mission, the vision is, and they just want to go. So it's very important that you understand, that you practice that self-awareness, right? And know who you are, how you work best, and understanding, again, that leadership style. Because if you do not, that could lead to some major team calamity. And let me just break it down a little bit, give you a stat. When it comes to on the job, it takes an estimated about $4,000 to replace an employee. Okay, so you want to make sure the fit is there, because that's money, that's time. Even when it comes to volunteers, if all of your volunteers would leave, you have to recruit an entirely new cohort of volunteers, which takes time, energy, can be very stressful. So you really want to make sure that you are walking through the necessary and appropriate steps to make sure that you have the right people serving with you. And if you are looking to serve, you want to be asking yourself these specific questions so you know that this is a fit for you. Because you may love what an organization or a job stands for, even that leader, what they stand for, who they serve, but if it is not a good personnel fit, you are going to have a hard time. So it is better just on the front end to really assess and get some information so you can know and have an understanding of what's going on. Now, I want to take a pause and say, if you are wondering about your team dynamics in your organization or your company, you can totally book with me. You can email me at info@IamEmpowered.life. We can do some assessment. I work with companies and organizations to help build that productivity, that impact. So hope is not lost, right? But I am on here tonight talking about how to avoid team calamity, especially going in 2022, right? We have been through this 2-year, bout of everything going on. It brings a lot of stress, a lot of frustration. We've had to transition a lot, try new things, which is great. It builds great new mindsets and skill sets. However, the people that you work with can help make that easier for you or make it harder. So I'm here to help you make it easier for yourself, for your organization, for your leadership team, and for your volunteers. Okay, so I want to put that out there. Now, next up, something else that you want to look at before you join a team or take on a new position or job, you want to know, what does the communication look like in this organization or with this particular leader? Are newsletters sent out? And if so, how often? How do they communicate? Do they text? Do they do phone calls? What does this look like? And is it a fit for you? Now, I know everything will not be perfect, and I know you're not going to like everything, right? So I get that. But again, it is very much all about the fit. It's all about the fit, okay? It's all about the fit. And so you want to make sure that that is correct. All right. So you want to know what the communication style is like, because you don't want to be lost in the sauce. One of the key things that goes wrong in organizations is the lack of communication. And the communication may not be relevant. The organization or the leaders may not communicate enough. But somewhere, wherever you had that communication gap or communication issue, that's another thing that can really make teams hard to be a part of, hard to work with. It can be very much a turnoff. Also, when you have a meeting where the meeting really could have been an email. All right. So it's important to understand the communication style and if that style works for you. And you want to find these things out on the front end. You want to be proactive, not reactive. You don't want to jump in, realize that it's crazy unnecessarily, and then have to jump out. Because transitions take time. There's protocol, procedure, all of that. Different connections happen. So you want to see what these things are like from the get-go. Okay? From the very beginning. So that's very important. And lastly, second to last, I'll say this. You want to know what are the current projects that this organization, that this team, that they're working on. What is their mission? What is their vision? What is currently going on? Especially, again, right now in this time. Is there a certain project, a mission, task that they are trying to get done? What does that look like? This gives you the opportunity to get a feel of how they work and what their priorities are as an organization, as a company, as a job. Again, because it is all about the fit. It's okay to like the people, the cause, the mission, but it's all about, is it a fit for you? Are you supposed to be there? Are you supposed to be volunteering there? Are you supposed to be working there? And it's important that you receive those answers early on. All right. So you want to know what those projects are, because the last question is you want to know and understand, two different things, what your role will be. I'm going to say that again. Okay. Because you don't want to assume anything. You want to know and you want to ask them, what will your role be? Because you want to know, where do you fit into this picture? You want to know where you fit into the picture. I'll give you another personal example. Same organization that I'm currently working with, a part of. I love it. I love what they're doing. However, I hit a point, I want to say last year, where I didn't really quite understand where I fit at. I didn't know. I had no idea. But here's the thing, and here's great leadership. I reached out to my leader. I let him know, hey, can we talk? I have some questions, and he was very responsive. We were able to have a conversation, and I was just able to be honest and let him know, and respectful, right? And let him know, hey, I really don't know how I fit. I really don't see myself in this. Can you help me? I'm thinking about leaving, just whatever that conversation was. And in his great leadership style, and I had two leaders at the time, we were able to sit down and find my fit, which allowed for me to be fully engaged. And now, since I'm fully engaged, I recruit for the organization. I help send grants and things with money to the organization because I'm bought in and I understand my fit. And so I understand what my role is and what they were looking for from me because I asked that question. Okay, so I made sure that I did that. That was my responsibility. So again, as you are looking to volunteer, and then leaders, as you're looking to pull people in, make sure that you are clear about this. Make sure that you know, make sure your volunteers and your staffers know where exactly they fit in the mission, where they fit in the project. This will help retain your volunteers. It will help retain your staffers as well. Because again, you don't want to spend the mental anguish, the time, or the money with a high turnover rate when you have your ongoing work projects and tasks going to serve clients and customers because you didn't take the time to make sure that there was a fit between you and the organization and the leadership style, the organization and you. So again, it's all about being proactive instead of reactive. So these are just some questions, some concepts that you want to pay attention to before you join any team, before you join any organization, before you say yes to the new job, right? Great resignation. You want to make sure that you are a fit, which will help you to avoid this team calamity in the future, right? Because again, it's all about being proactive and not reactive. So I'm just going to recap again. We're talking about ways to avoid teen calamity. Thank you so much for joining me, tuning in. My name is Ashley Kennedy. I am the Chief Empowerment Officer at Empowered Inc. I thoroughly enjoy working with organizations and teams on ways where they can be very productive, more productive, and have a high level of impact. I'm very much about honoring your team and your staff. I use my SOAR method to walk organizations and companies through how to be productive with a great impact while they honor themselves and those that they work with. So I love doing this, okay? If you're listening and you're saying, yes, I need to work with her, I would love to work with you. You can shoot me an email at info@IamEmpowered.life. I have an amazing training that is available right now, okay? But we're just going to recap, and then I'm going to go ahead and jump off. But there are ways to avoid teen calamity. We have become so used to dysfunction that, excuse me, we've normalized it. Instead of saying, okay, how can we adjust this so we can really cut down on the dysfunction? Every day should not be dysfunctional. If it is, you definitely need to book a call with me, okay? Because that's why people are leaving. People need safety, security, flexibility, okay, kindness, and to be honored. So I'll put that out there. But the things that we need to take a look at, that you need to take a look at to avoid team calamity, are these things before you jump on a team, right? Okay, 1, assess the environment. You need to know where you're going to be working, where you're going to be serving. Suburbs, inner city, school, remote only, another state. You need to know this. 2, you want to know who you'll be working with. Kids, board members, staff only, government. Who will it be? You need to know these things. Next up, you need to know the leadership style of the person that you will be reporting to, okay? Is it hands-on? Hands-off. What does it look like? All right? Next up, you want to know what the communication looks like of the organization and how frequent is the communication. Is it relevant communication? Is there clarity in the communication? Can you openly and freely communicate where there's an issue without retaliation? Okay, you need to know these things before you join a new team, a new staff. All right? You want to also know what are the current projects that organization is working on. What are they trying to achieve? You want to know their mission. You want to understand that. And lastly, you want to know what role you will be playing. How do you fit into all of this? Okay? Very important that you assess all of these things, take a look at all of these things, and know the answer to all of them before you jump on a team, a new staff. Even if it's your best friend, even if it's someone you've known for years who may have invited you to this, you want to have the answers to all of these questions before you say yes. Okay? You want to know the answers to all of these questions before you say yes to avoid teen calamity, to avoid the intrapersonal conflict that can just send you reeling in unnecessary things. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you have some concerns or thoughts, or you just want to make sure things are going well, you just want to confirm what it is your organization is doing in regards to productivity, impact, even volunteerism, you can get in touch with me by emailing info@IamEmpowered.life. I would love to work with you, have a conversation, because again, I am very much about healthy and innovative workspaces, and we must have healthy teams and healthy leaders in order to do that. And there are ways to assess that and improve it, because we will always need people in some way, shape, or form. We're seeing that now. We are a global community. And so we have to really acknowledge that. And so I just wanted to jump on, give us some great tips for that. Make sure you are following me on IG, empowered, the number 4, YOU, the number 2. And I look forward to empowering you real soon. So thank you so much for tuning in, and be blessed. Have a great week. Stay well.